want you to know this. Your first offer is not your forever offer. And pivoting doesn't mean that you failed. It means that you're growing. Welcome to the Self-Made Life Podcast, the show for creative entrepreneurs who are building their dream business and life on their terms. I'm your host, Ashley Wyatt, designer, entrepreneur, mama of two, and founder of the Monarch Design Co. And I believe success isn't handed to you. You create it. Here, we're pulling back the curtain on what it really takes to run a business, the wins, the lessons, and the messy in between. Whether you're scaling your side hustle during nap time, redefining your brand, or ready to take your business full time, this show is your go-to for honest conversations, practical strategies, and inspiration to help you grow with confidence. Because being self-made isn't about doing it alone. It's about building a life and business that feels as good as it looks. So let's dive in. Hey friend, welcome back to another episode of the Self-Made Life Podcast. If you're new here, hi, I'm Ashley. I'm a brand and web designer, creative director, and mom of two, running a business that's grown and evolved a lot over the past 7 years. Today's episode is for anyone who feels like their business is shifting or maybe needs to shift, and maybe you're scared of what that says about you. I want you to know this. Your first offer is not your forever offer. And pivoting doesn't mean that you failed. It means that you're growing. So let's rewind a bit. When I first started this business, it looked very different than what it does today. I was deep in the world of calligraphy and wedding stationery. I was doing hand-lettered signs in the middle of my living room. I was doing chalkboard seating charts on my dining room table, and I was loving it until I wasn't. Then I pivoted into luxury wedding stationery, and I was so excited for that. I had a full roster of clients booked for 2020. And then we all know what happened in 2020, right? The whole world just shut down and hit pause, and our entire roster of clients postponed their weddings overnight. It wasn't until then that I pivoted into branding and logo design and back to my roots of web design. And it came from a place of helping my fellow wedding vendor pros and small business friends during a very slow period. And I quickly realized that I just loved helping people bring their vision to life in a more strategic way. And I saw the direct impact that brand and web design actually had on their livelihood. Now, don't get me wrong. I love pretty things. I love wedding stationery, all the things, calligraphy. But I knew that I was meant to have a bigger impact in helping fellow entrepreneurs and business owners. And that led me back to my roots of brand and web design. And it eventually pivoted me into offering VIP days, website templates, and most recently, one-on-one mentorship for fellow entrepreneurs. So each pivot came with discomfort. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was hard, but it also came with clarity. And every shift helped me to refine what I really loved and what I was good at and how I wanted to show up in this season of life and support other business owners. And we get this idea that we have to pick a lane and stick to it forever. And I just don't believe that that's true. Life changes. There's different seasons. We evolve, our values shift. And honestly, pivoting is one of the bravest things that you can do in business. It means that you're listening to yourself and your intuition. It means that you're paying attention to what's aligned and what's not. And it means that you're being honest, even if it's hard. My business has had to pivot around so many life transitions: a pandemic, moving to a new city where I knew no one, becoming a mom twice, shifting into more of a creative director role, and wanting more time, freedom, and sustainability. Business is not linear. It is a roller coaster. And that's okay. That's just how it goes. And that is how it leads us to growing, really. But yeah, one of the hardest pivots was closing down my Etsy shop. At the time, it felt like such a huge piece of my identity. For the longest time, I was juggling doing branding and wedding stationery. I had orders coming in, I had loyal customer base, and I was at a point where I was ready to buy another business in the stationery world. And I literally had like a 100-year-old printing press in our garage at one point. This is how serious I was. And it is like an insane amount of trouble to like move this thing because it literally weighs like a ton, like an actual like letterpress printing machine, like manually printing with dies and everything. But it just didn't feel aligned anymore. And at the time, like it was, and then it wasn't. And I just knew that I needed to trust my intuition and dive into brand and web design all in. And part of me felt trapped. Every sale meant I had to fulfill something. I was burning out. I was at the mercy of suppliers. And like during the pandemic, that was very uncertain. There was a lot of supply chain issues in the paper world. And I knew that I wanted to move into higher impact work of brand and web design. So I closed up my shop and I cried a lot. There was a lot of tears, trust me. But it also felt good. Even though it did feel like a failure, even though I feel like I was like losing a part of myself, it was a really powerful decision that set me up for what was next and aligned me to what my business is today. And looking back, it really was that catalyst for everything that came after. So letting go just gave me the space to build something that was just in more alignment, so that I could have that bigger impact for other entrepreneurs and businesses. So if you're feeling the pull to pivot, here are some things that I've learned. Communication is key. So you want to bring your audience along for the ride. Share the why behind the change and let them feel a part of it. Set boundaries. So boundaries are so important. And it's okay to say no to old offers that don't serve you anymore. You're allowed to evolve. Reestablish clarity. So get super clear on what you want to be doing and what you want to be known for. So that means updating your messaging on your website, Instagram bio. Everything needs to reflect where you're going. And pivoting doesn't have to mean blowing it all up. It can be thoughtful and intentional with this whole evolution. So here's the part we don't talk about enough. Pivoting often brings up a lot of shame. Like, what will people think? You know, that negative Nancy in the back of your head. Will they trust me if I change again? What if I look like I don't know what I'm doing? I've been there, done that. And here's what I've learned. Most people aren't watching you as closely as you think. And people who are, they're inspired by your courage. The right clients and followers and people and community will follow your evolution and respect it. I recently did a photo shoot with Susie, who will be coming on the podcast soon. But Susie Robson, she is a fellow entrepreneur and creative business owner. She's a photographer in the Niagara region. And Susie actually took one of my calligraphy classes like way back in the day when I first started. And she also ordered some Christmas cards from me. And coming full circle, I recently did a photo shoot with her. And she has been following my journey along the way and just watching how things have evolved. So this just goes to show that your story, your pivots are inspiring, and don't worry about what other people think, because chances are they don't think anything less of you. You are allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to grow, and you're allowed to build a business that fits your life now, not the version of you from 5 years ago. So if you're standing at a crossroads, unsure if you should keep going with the same offers or shift into something new, this is your sign that pivoting is not only allowed, but it might be your next breakthrough. Let yourself change. And here's a little takeaway question for you. Maybe do this as like a journaling prompt. I feel like this would be really helpful just to do on a yearly basis. But what is feeling out of alignment in your business right now? And what would feel more like you if you had the courage to shift? Maybe write those down. This is like the perfect time, end of year, to reflect, and DM me on Instagram at Monarch Design Co. and tell me what pivot you're currently navigating, or leave a review if this episode resonated with you. And if you want someone to walk alongside you as you refine your offers, get clarity, or even pivot with confidence, check out my one-on-one mentorship sessions. I would love to support you in this next season. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next week with another lesson from the past 7 years of growing this business. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today on the Self-Made Life podcast. If you loved this episode, share it with a friend, leave a review, or hit follow so that you never miss an episode. Want to work together or grab some free resources? You can always find me over at www.themonarchdesign.co/podcast. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep building, and go create your self-made life.
This podcast is produced, mixed, and edited by Cardinal Studio. For more information about how to start your own podcast, please visit www.cardinalstudio.co or email Mike at mike@cardinalstudio.co. You can also find the details in the show notes.